You have to learn to say no. What does that mean? In what context? Well, today we're going to talk about it in the context of business. And this probably can apply to a lot of things in your life. But first of all, why do we have to say no? And we have to say no to things because that's how we keep our sanity. It's a mental health thing, partly. It's a keeping things under control. We want to stay in business because we have control, some control. I mean, you can have a little chaos. I inject chaos in my business all the time. Oh, things are going too smoothly. Let's inject some chaos. Let's add another product or something, another service, or do something else. But but saying no though is really a critical thing. And I am going to share an actual real world thing like I do always. Agency Lessons is about lessons from the trenches. And in my case, my trenches, running a web design agency. And so we'll talk about no. So we're going to talk about no. No is, we can say no to things without saying no. We do that all the time. We probably have that built in. Hopefully you have that built into your business. There's ways you say no to things without saying no. And one of those ways is your pricing, right? So I'll give you an example. You price things because you don't want everything. So we price things at a certain level because we don't want the cheaper projects or the high volume stuff. We don't want to FYI, we don't create $300 websites. We don't do that. Not that I never did that in the past, 10 years ago, but that's a conscious decision on my part when I was building our pricing and the type of client we were looking for. But that's how you say no to those smaller things, by just having a higher price. Hourly, same thing. We're not going to do work for you for $25 an hour. So that's how we say no, right? And when you come back and be like, well, but I'm like, no, there's no negotiating that, maybe there's scenarios you can negotiate a little bit by volume or something, by contract. But that's another way, right? Another way is just how you define your offer, like what you actually offer. So for a long, long time, since the beginning of my agency, I'm in the 5th year, we do web design development. We don't do marketing. We don't do SEO. We don't do paid advertising. We also defined it by, we work with these particular frameworks, WordPress, CMS. Then we added Shopify. Now we're adding Webflow. But we don't do all this other stuff, right? We don't do everything. If you come to me with Wix or Squarespace or some other, there's a lot of things I would say, no, we don't do that. We can do yourself. We define that, and that's how we say no to other things. So it's another subtle way to do it. We're not technically saying no, we're just saying we don't do that, or this is what we do, right? So that's another way. What's another way here? You have to accept your limitations. What are you qualified to do, right? So I'm not qualified, especially when I was doing most of the work myself. I don't these days, but especially when I was doing the work myself, I didn't know how to do everything. So that's another subtle way of saying no. This is what I do, and no, I can't do that. So those things are things you build into your business, and I think it's really important to do that. It helps you specialize, and you can grow that over time. But to become known for certain things, I think helps a lot. And now there's an interesting thing that's happening right now. In fact, I've been thinking about this past day. I've been planning we're going after this new vertical. a new niche. But in that niche, because we're specializing so much at a particular industry, I actually do want to do more. We will still build websites in a certain way, but we want to add other services like SEO and stuff. So we're figuring that out right now. That doesn't mean I offer that to everybody. That's not my main business, just in this niche, because we can design it in a very particular way and understand that niche in a very, very specific way. Reasons to do that. But again, but any other things we're doing, we don't do that. So that's how we say no. However, there's one specific event this past week, which is really, really interesting, that it's not easy to say no sometimes. So in this particular case, a friend, a fellow developer out there, not working for us, a partner friend out there, came to my community. We got a Slack community. He came to my community and said he had somebody that had a WooCommerce site and something happened. They got attacked and the site's down and they need help really badly. And he wasn't able to do it because he's got a lot on his plate. And so when I look at that, like, I could go in and help them. There's no question I could go in and help them. This is what we do, right? That's like our specialty, putting out fires, and WooCommerce we know inside and out. And we could probably get them back up pretty quickly. And it's happened before. I've told a story of one of my clients, been working with them for almost 2 years. About 2 years ago, they came to me with a fire. It was actually referred to me from, again, a different friend on LinkedIn, reached out to me, said, I have this client. I don't have time. Can you help them? And so I reached out that day, and there was another team of developers he was trying to get help from, and it was a couple days, and they couldn't fix this problem. I went in and fixed it in like an hour or two. He still touts that whole interaction. He was so impressed that 2 years later, we've had this contract with them for a long time, and we help them with maintain their site and stuff. But that's the thing, right? So it's hard to say no to something because it could lead to more business. If you impress that client or that prospect at the time and that client, and they might want to do more business with you. You might get all the business, right? It's very, very hard to say no to those things. You have to kind of gauge it though, because you can weigh that, whether that's by asking some questions, learn a little bit more about what's going on there. And actually, in this case, I'm talking about today. I did ask those questions. I was a little concerned about how they were reacting to this issue and who they were blaming and all this other stuff. But at the same time, it was a fire that would have taken me off my game, right? It would obviously, now there's a lot of unknowns. So when I take on something, if I don't know that client, I don't have an existing relationship, I don't know that website, there's so many things that there could be that person's personality, or it could be the personality of the website or how it's built, where there could be a myriad of issues, and it might turn into a day, 2 days, a week project. Who knows, right? I have to think about my existing clients, my partners, my team. I got to think about everybody. How is taking this, saying yes to this, going to affect? What's the ripple effect? What's it going to affect? And now, if it was a tiny little, hey, go on and fix some CSS, yeah, it's different. This was not that. So I had to weigh that. And so my reply was, I'm sorry, we're not going to be able to help you with this. Maybe so-and-so can, though, because there's a couple other people in our group that could jump in and help. And one did. I don't know what the results of that were. I will probably eventually hear. But for me, the communication was, we can't do that. Unless it's an existing relationship. Unless we've already built that relationship, we're not putting out fires. We're not that. We're not that shop that you can just, that we can just take on whatever. We just have a lot of responsibility. We have existing contracts. We prioritize our current clients. And that's how we keep good, solid relationships, because it's just one thing can just throw everything off. And like today, the next 2 days, I'm recording this on a Thursday. I got Thursday, Friday. I'm literally working nonstop on existing client work. If somebody dropped something that's on fire, that's out of what we're already doing and who we know, and there's a lot of unknowns, a lot of questions there, and they need it done immediately, that's not us. So that's a really, really great example, I think, of having the strength to say no. Again, there's that side of me, that marketing sales side of me, that is like, that's an opportunity. Maybe I could get another client. But I passed. And I think everyone around me will be happier for that. Running a business, learning to say no without saying no, building those boundaries, and making sure that people understand what you do and what you can't do. It's very important, whether it's partners or, clients or whatever. And but here's the thing too, though. Notice what I did there when I said no. If I can't do something, and this is how you build relationships. This is about networking. It's kind of like a side little networking tip. I can't do it, but I might know somebody that can. I can't do it, but hey, so-and-so, go, check. Maybe they can take a look at this, or, I know this person, whatever, bring in your network. That's what a network's for, to be able to take things, you're going to give it to somebody, a friend or somebody, and you may not, you may hear a year later that this is their biggest account. But it is what it is. You gotta just take that risk. All right. Hope you found this interesting, helpful, and you're wiser for listening in. Until next time, take care.